Kulusevski, Madison and EMBARGO, does that give you a kind of creativity problem and what, are possible solutions to that issue?
Yeah, look, it sort of gives you a little bit more of a challenge because they all sort of play in that area and not exactly the same players, but like I said, they're all sort of the creative types in midfield and filled that role really well for us this year at different times. So just another challenge. But like I said, that's been a constant this year. We've always had to sort of try and find creative ways of covering the absences we've had, and we'll find a way to do that as well.
In kind of different circumstances, I guess, if you lose 3 players in a similar position, you could think about a radical solution, a change of formation or something. Is it that feasible for a final, or is that too much of a risk?
Look, no, it's, again, you sort of factor it all into it. I doubt you'd do a serious departure from sort of what we have been doing in terms of our overall structure. But as I said, you have to sort of, at the same time, find some solutions within the context of what we have available to give us our best chance of success. And that'll depend sort of on, we're going to get through the game tomorrow night, see what the wash up from that is, and then we can try a couple of things tomorrow night to see how they work, and then kind of make our decisions from there.
And you're talking about sort of radical solutions, maybe not so much to the formation structure, but what about Don playing deeper or Pedro moving into attacking midfield? He's a very creative player. I mean, are any of those things on the table, or is it again too late to sort of go down?
No, I think it's all in the realms of, you kind of, when you're in this position, where we've always been in this position, you kind of go through all the different sort of scenarios, and like I said, a lot of it will depend sort of, let's see how we get through tomorrow night, see how people get through the game, because there's obviously a few players who will play tomorrow night who haven't played regularly or a lot lately that get an opportunity, and there could be a performance tonight that kind of convinces me to go one way or another tomorrow night. And but you consider it all. As I said, I think at the same time even if you do something radical, whether it's positional change, it's always better done within the confines of still having a real solid foundation there. So foundationally, we're not going to change anything there in terms of the way we play, the way we kind of set up for the most part. If you do that, then if it's one positional change for a player, then that still has the possibility of working.
You talked about what you expect from Sonny tomorrow night. Despite not having creative midfielders at the moment, on the left-hand side, actually, you've got quite a lot of options if he's back fit with Richie and Matisse as well. But I wonder, with Son's ability to sort of unlock defences with his technical ability, his passing, given what you're facing at the moment in the middle, does that sort of make his involvement even more important?
Again, absolutely fantastic to have him available, and like I said, he's he's got the experience, but B, like I said, he does have that creative ability, so that's the first thing. But again, game tomorrow night, need to get him some match minutes, need to see how he is. I've never sort of tried to kind of look too far into the future in terms of what we might do, but if nothing else, this year's taught me that our planning at the moment is pretty much a day-to-day proposition. Let's get through training today and everyone gets through, and then let's get through the game tomorrow, and then post-game tomorrow we can start looking at those kind of things.
Just finally, on Sonny, there's some reports back in Korea that he's had this incident in his personal life and going to the police potentially over someone. The whole story, I don't know if you're aware of it. Is there anything?
No.
Is he fine?
No, mate. I mean, I'm not even going to sort of go down that track. It's not something I would talk to him about unless he came to me, and my understanding is it's a legal issue, so I wouldn't touch it, mate.
Andrew, just can I take you back to the balancing act, really, just about tomorrow night? I guess sharpness must come into it a bit, or kind of just worried because of the injury.
Look, in a normal world, John, you kind of use tomorrow night as sharpening up, but we're not living in a normal world. That's the reality of our sort of existence at the moment, where we can't afford to lose another player to an injury. It's just too finely balanced for us at the moment with what's at stake in terms of, Villa are obviously going for Champions League football, and you see how important it is to them. we're doing the same. We'll go.
Just going back to Kulu, I mean, that's the reminder, isn't it? That basically, if anyone needed it.
Well, yeah, I mean, not that we needed it. We've had plenty of evidence for it, but and it also shows you that you can plan as much as you like. And like I said, the idea of playing sort of Pedro and Rodri and Decky last week for 45 minutes was that, Pedro's very resilient. He's played every game this year, so we're less concerned about him. Rodrigo's pretty resilient as well, and with him, it was only going to be 45. And the same with Decky, but Decky was more that he hasn't played, so it made sense for him to have a game. And as I said, if it's kind of a muscle injury, then you question, did we do the right thing? But it's something that, he probably gets tackled like that, 20 times a season, nothing happens. So it seems to be that's our sort of lot at the moment, where we're just sort of, even with the best planning, still getting hit with these setbacks. And I think from my perspective, I've got to take that into account when considering the game tomorrow night.
John? Is it the concept of this integrity of the game? Is it a completely fake thing? I think managers should be able to do what they want, and you should win whatever team you want.
Well, I'm not sure what people are talking about when they talk about the integrity of the game. I mean, I don't know what that means. Like I said, if we've certainly had put our teams this year that, because of our injury situation, were not sort of the strongest teams we needed to put out there, but we still had to play those games, and it's the same with other clubs. So I'm not really sure what the integrity. I mean, I don't even know why that question's been asked, to be honest, because if people think we're going to go out there tomorrow night and not give our absolute best to win a game of football, then I'm not really sure. I think that's the only time integrity gets questioned. I mean, when we played Man City last year and apparently I was in the wrong trying to win a game of football, that's where integrity comes into it, and that's why I was so strong on it. But I think when you put out a lineup out there, you're trying to win a game of football. But at the same time, every club has got its own interests, and you've got to prioritise what's important for your club. As I said, Champions League is very important for all those clubs fighting for it at the moment. I can see how important it is, and every game for them is crucial, and everything they do every decision is crucial. We're in exactly the same boat. We've got Champions League qualifications plus a trophy to win. It would be negligent of me if I wasn't doing the best thing for our football club to make sure we achieve that.
Matt, and just on Decky, was it just a kick? Was it just a freakish?
Yeah, just a freakish. I mean, it was just a collision between him and I think Mark Gay, where it wasn't even a foul, I don't think. But it looked like his knee hit sort of Mark's hip bone, and we've had a look at the vision, and it's just one of those inverted things, and it's just bad luck.
On other things, you're going to tell me.
Don't tell me what I'm going to tell you, mate. Or else there's no point me being here. Just do it yourself. Write your piece, and we're away.
How do the next 5 or 6 days pan out? Beyond Villa, can you get a rest in? Do you keep training? When do you go to Spain?
Yeah, we've kind of mapped it out. But as I said, it's a bit of a day-to-day proposition. A lot will depend on sort of what I decide about tomorrow night and who plays and who doesn't, and then sort of making sure that the guys who don't, who potentially will be involved on Wednesday, we get some good training into them, because I think that's important. But our program at the moment is, all things being equal, we obviously do the Villa game tomorrow night. We won't get back till late. Saturday will be sort of rest day for the players. We'll train Sunday. Sunday will be a good session for us, and then train here Monday morning, and then fly out to Bilbao Monday afternoon. Get to Bilbao, and then sort of have a run on the pitch the night before in Bilbao, and then sort of the game Wednesday.
In your experience, is this a sort of time for great rallying speeches and oratory, or a chance to do something different, or is it important to?
Look, I think it's just, again, my experience with these things, you just got to you got to read the moment. I think, again, it's very hard to sort of pre-plan these things, because there may be a catalyst for something, that happens that changes that, whatever the need it is for the players. My role in that is just that, as I said, taking a day-by-day proposition and and try and sort of read what the players really need. It's about them, and we'll certainly, once the Villa game's done and we sort of do our reviews, that then our focus turns to sort of the main game, and every day will be important in terms of preparing the players for that and what that needs and what that looks like. Intuitively, I usually kind of just go with my gut. As we move along, there'll be a couple of things planned that we need to sort of make sure we do. And some of it's just sort of not isolating, but protecting the players, because there's a lot more demands. There already has been. We've had media all week, obviously, and more demands on players. I'm sure they're getting inundated with ticket requests and people. So a lot of it is sort of logistically as well, just to make sure that what we have around the players sort of insulates them from being taken away from what's important, and that's preparing for a big game.
Thank you.
Thank you.